I'm getting some interesting comments about this negative bus driver experience, and I thought I'd comment a little bit about it. Um, some of you that are on my channel, I mean, we're developing a relationship. You're starting to see who I am, and you're very, very protective and loving and supporting. And I really, really love that about everybody on my channel. You are the reason that gives me hope that humanity has a chance, because I really think all of my subscribers are the best of humanity. Um, but there's a few comments that I wanted to address, and one of them was, this guy shouldn't have done that. There's lots of prejudice. He shouldn't have judged me or my situation because he doesn't have a clue of what's going on. And that is true. But at the same time, we have to see that how he's acting, something happened to him. Now, if you all look, by default, we're all loving people, and you all look at, if you're angry, there's a cause. There's always an underlying cause, and there's always an underlying cause behind the cause. So you really have to get to the root of the cause. And from what I see, something bad happened to this guy. And could have been in his childhood, could have been in his genetics, maybe, somewhere down his line, that made this business rule that says this really, really bad experience will happen to you unless you are in the position of power. And that's why a lot of us have control issues or feel we need to dominate other people, because we can't control our own lives. We have this fear somebody else is going to control us. So instead of gaining your own personal control, you feel you need to control other people. Um, Obviously, just asking a question set him off. So obviously people make complaints about him all the time. So he must have assumed that I was going to be really, really hard down on him for being late, when I was just asking which bus I was going to catch. And then from making the complaint and hearing that he's best friends with the union guy and you can't get rid of this guy and he thinks he can do anything he wants, clearly other people have complained about him. So, and if people are complaining about him, it's like, as soon as anybody approaches this guy's going to have a fear. Oh, there's another complaint. I better defend myself. And that's basically what this guy was doing, was trying to defend himself. And then not letting anybody off the bus. This is a time where we have to use a little bit of common sense, that this guy, he used, I can't let you off because you can, sue me if you get injured. And, sometimes our management has these rules that we think we need to follow 100%, and we lose all common sense when it means, we come down to dealing with public. When you're actually in the experience that makes all of these rules, you lose your mind, because you have to follow the rules. You can't use your common sense. In this particular situation, they let people off away from the curb if you're on a different bus route. In the same parking lot, they have a bus route that allows people to come in and off on the bus in a much more dangerous way than the way this guy was parked. And, he could have easily opened the door, but there was that control. No, I got to keep it shut. And, then he used this legal thing that I don't think that there ever was a legal case against them for letting anybody off a bus 2 feet away from the stop and keeping them tied into a bus for, like, you know, a good 5-10 minutes. It had to have been longer than 5 minutes, because I sat there for a long time before I ended up saying, hey, can you open the door? So I'm pretty sure I waited 5 minutes, and I'm pretty sure the argument took 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm pretty sure we were sitting there 10 to 15 minutes locked in this bus. And meanwhile, he was late to begin with. So, Anybody that was going into school because it was out of college, they're going to probably be late. Anybody that had a job or had to catch another bus was going to miss their bus because this guy, was going to hold everybody up. So he lost all of his common sense, his ability to be human, to say, this situation happened and I had to let people off because it would have destroyed everybody else's flow of life. He was only concerned of his own. And there is a cause. Why does this guy need to have so much control over the flow of his own life at the expense of everybody else's? Something happened to him. And I'm not going to choose to judge this guy as, his actions are evil. There's a cause behind his actions. I can forgive this guy. I can be loving towards this guy. I prefer to choose being that way. But somehow we need to start having a conversation that's loving, not fighting, that says this behavior is wrong and we need to make some changes. And they gotta be the workers within our corporate world. You have to understand that our corporate world is designed to do harm to your life. That is why the economics globally is crashing, because we're not using our heads. Some guy is writing rules of how things are going to be, and they've never ever walked in the path of what it's like when you get there. You know, it's the same thing as this building that I'm going in for the gym. Some really, really smart guy designed the building, but they didn't put water fountains in there and they didn't put any electrical outlets in there. And they spent millions building this building, but they forgot to put a few essential things in there. We're human, but you cannot listen to just the top. You have to use a little bit of common sense in our life and be kind, thoughtful, listen to other people, listen to their needs. If you can make it happen, then make it happen. But that is more my point, I guess, is we all do this, and we all got to join together to make a change. And that means even this guy, because this guy's about to lose his job. If not from this or some other complaint, I mean, he may not lose his job this way, but when our economics crashes, I mean, a lot of people here in Canada don't see it coming, so it's going to hit us really, really hard. But when that happens, this guy's going to be out of work, and then he's going to be wondering why. There's a good chance there's even going to be a major earthquake in this area, which is being predicted. So there's a good chance in this area we're going to have a major catastrophe. The no bus is going to run, and regardless of how it's going to happen, a lot of us are going to be unemployed if we don't make some changes. And all of this can be prevented if we sort of see what we're doing to each other. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be, in his eyes, his worst enemy, but just because I stood up for myself and said this is wrong and you shouldn't treat anybody this way. He will take great offense to somebody speaking up. And yet, I'm pretty sure if somebody pissed him off, I'm pretty sure this guy would never keep his mouth shut. I'm pretty sure this guy, if somebody's a pain in his ass, he'll go out of his way and bitch about it. There's no doubt about that, judging by his attitude. So, this is what we got to look at, is what's good for you should be good for other people. And if you don't like other people doing it, maybe it's a sign that you need to stop. And at the same time, I don't know where I am fitting into doing what's right. I may not have behaved correctly at all, but this guy was pissing me off, and he would make a statement that would just, well, I got to comment to that statement, like telling me there's a lawsuit. Sorry, but the first thing that popped into my mind is, what's the lawsuit? I'd like to know. If you're going to tell me that, I want to know. So I asked the question. It was like I was compelled to respond to every statement he was making. He was telling me to be patient, and it's like, tell that to the boss that you work for. If I was working for somebody, like, what do I have to do? Travel 2 hours on a bus, but then I have to take an extra 2 hours just in case your schedule doesn't work. So then that means it takes me 8 hours to get to work, to get 4 hours to get to work and 4 hours to get back, and it's, maybe a 10-minute drive in a car. It's just insane. Totally insane. And as soon as I start telling anybody, oh, the transit system, it does not take very much to find a lot of people that'll tell me their horror stories on the transit system. And I'm pretty sure it's not just here in this town. I'm pretty sure it's all over the place. And why? Because a lot of us are stressed within our jobs. This traffic, so many variables are not making the system function perfectly. So it's pissing people off. They're stressed. They're getting fired because they're late for work because of a bus driver. People are taking their anger out on bus drivers and they wonder why. So it's got to be hard on bus drivers too. But I've seen quite a few good ones. They're all amazing, great bus drivers. The one yesterday was on that route 9713, a French guy, amazing, amazing bus driver. The one that I had this morning too, great guy. I was kind of angry because the bus was like, I was waiting about 45 minutes for it. So you can kind of, it was really cold too. So I was kind of like really wondering what bus I'm on. And I asked him that question. And he didn't know what happened to the bus ahead of him. He said nothing was really radioed in. But, he was really, really pleasant when I was asking the question. He kind of was a little, don't attack me. And it's like, hey, wait a minute, I'm just asking a question here. So he's kind of like a little scared that I was asking him a question, but as soon as he seen that I was just asking for information, he was really, really nice and friendly. It's something got with this other guy, and all I can see is people are pissed off for a reason, and chances are it has nothing to do with the situation that we're experiencing. It has something to do with something I'll never know, but I know it's there because this guy wouldn't be this angry without a reason. So, and he keeps good friends like the heads of the union to keep him safe. Peace out.